All right, gather round, mates. I've got a bonza story for you, and it starts with why the British decided to invade our fair land. You see, back in the day, there were a few reasons behind it, and it all goes back to the aftermath of the American Revolutionary War. After the war ended in 1783, the British were left with a right conundrum. The United States, those cheeky buggers, refused to take any more prisoners from the British. Can you believe it? So, what did the British do? They found themselves stuck with a prison population that was bursting at the seams, and they needed to find a solution, and fast. Now, remember, this was a time when transportation was all the rage. They figured, why not send these prisoners halfway across the world to a land that was virtually unknown to them? And that's how our beloved Australia ended up on their radar. So, in 1788, the first fleet of convicts arrived in New South Wales, ready to set up shop in this wild and untamed land. But here's the twist, mates. Among those convicts were some blokes who were considered a bit more trustworthy than the rest. Governor Arthur Phillip saw potential in them and decided to give them a chance at redemption. He appointed these former criminals as the very first coppers in Australia. Now you might be thinking, what in the world was he smoking? But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And that's how we ended up with our first coppers, who were once crooks themselves. They were given the authority to enforce the law and keep the peace in this new colony. But as we all know, things didn't quite go as planned. Some of these blokes couldn't resist the temptation, and they ended up abusing their power or taking bribes left, right and centre. So, there you have it, mates. The British were forced to invade Australia because the Yanks wouldn't take any more prisoners. And in their quest to find a solution, they ended up appointing some of those prisoners as our first coppers. It's a tale that's as crazy as it is fascinating, and it just goes to show that our history is full of twists and turns. So, raise a glass to our convict past and the wild ride it took to get us where we are today. Cheers, mates!